run offense, I think that puts Virginia Tech right into it.
All right, Addie Holtquist, the redshirt sophomore out of Tallahassee for the Seminoles. The serve is up, and we are underway from Blacksburg, Virginia. Tip out of play. Hokies with the point. Good start for Virginia Tech up front. And an awfully different set of sizes, you could say, too, although Virginia Tech has some height in that front row, too. Serving the other side, dug out. Slam up front and finding the hardwood immediately for the Noles. Corey Lewis.
Yeah, Lewis has been really good for Florida State this year. Good serve receive, good pass, good first contact, quick middle attack, just how you like to draw it up.
Gayona from St. Louis. Another true freshman in this young roster who will get the serve up right away. Virginia Tech on the other side, blocked at the net. Florida State point. Now, the big notion underlying at the beginning of this conference play, Jake, is the fact that the ACC is getting a lot stronger in volleyball every year. Now one of those top conferences too, Jake.
I mean, yeah, we said when Florida State made the Final Four in 2011, it was shocking, I think, to a lot of people who follow college volleyball. And then last year, Pitt and Louisville in the Final Four. Louisville, again, a top 5 program, Pitt top 10. It's really changed.
Durant couldn't get the touch up there, as you were saying, Jay.
Georgia Tech's been really good the last few years, and Florida State's been solid. And then, we'll talk about it later, I think, but with the addition of especially Stanford next year, that completely changes the landscape.
Gayona with a float ball right down the middle. Right side, tipping it over is Lewis, and that's going to find hardwood as well. Hokies with a big point to respond.
And so I would say that Florida State definitely has a size advantage here against Virginia Tech. For Virginia Tech to be successful, they want to run Lewis here quick on a slide. That's a nice fast slide to the pin. Sort of negates Florida State's size advantage a little bit.
Aylward to serve for Virginia Tech. Dug out on the other side, Gayona. And a slam down. Kylene Filamawa with the spike there.
Yeah, Filamawa, nice swing. Pretty hard seam. I think you're going to want to see Dupre playing right side, her slide that block inside a little bit more. You can't let Filamawa just swing to the middle of the court so easily. Give her line, give her cross. Make her choose one. Don't let her just hit right in the middle.
And here's the graduate out of Serbia, Draskovic with the serve. Free ball for Florida State, and they poke it out of play. Virginia Tech with another lucky point.
So you have short people on your team for a reason. And in the case there, you've got Sydney Connolly. Her job here on the free ball is to peel off, get ready to hit. You have a DS back there. You have a libero back there. Just get out of the way. If it's super short, then Connolly goes to play it. But anything to the back row, let the DSs, the defensive specialists, and liberos, let them handle it.
Far side swing. The Noles can't handle it. Hokies looking strong against some stiff competition early on.
Yeah, it's a good pass there from Rodriguez. Quick middle attack. Sydney Peterson, good off 2 feet, good in front of the setter. Back in the middle this year for Virginia Tech, after playing primarily right side, opposite last year.
Service error from Rodriguez, who leads the team in service aces, so a little bit of a mishap there.
That's okay. I mean, I think that if Florida State has a weakness, it is serve receive. You want to keep the pressure on them in service, and you're going to miss sometimes. If you're serving tough, you're going to miss. It's okay. You want to keep that pressure on them, though, on the ones you make.
Right side. Noles handle it just fine. And that one threaded out of play. Hokies didn't touch. Defense has been strong up front, too. That was Sydney Conley mishitting that one. All sorts of youth across this Noles roster, but Conley one of the few seniors in the court right now. Elena Dupre for the Hokies. Good dig from Gayona. Free ball for Virginia Tech. Stiffens up the tempo. A great dig on the other side from Florida State. And into the net. Attacking error from VT.
That set out there never got there. Died inside, kind of a trap set. Really putting Manuel Durant in a tough spot there. Moore's got to get a little bit more height on that.
Here's Kiari Roby, junior out of Atlanta, Georgia. Hokies with an easy dig and slamming that one out of play. How about Sydney Peterson with her first kill of the night?
That's good. Again, slide attack, effective for Virginia Tech. This time, Peterson.
6 apiece. And the serve. Up front and finding hardwood. Noel's size is definitely showing out. Corey Lewis with her first kill. Switching out the roster up front. What do you think the look is from Chris Poole?
This is typical for them. This is their 6-2. So as Conley rotates back, Phelan subs into set.
Attacking error from Peterson up front.
And Maddie Snyder comes in to play right side to replace Droskovic. So what it means with the 6-2 is you're always going to have 2 setters in the system. They're always going to be in the back row. They're never hitting. Florida State will always have 3 attackers in the front row available. It gives you more size. It gives you more options. The downside, that's a great dig.
What a dig from Gaona. Oh, what a fantastic save to the right side. Cannot get it back in. Fantastic effort from Dupre, but Gaona with the dig on the other side, huh?
Yeah, Corey Lewis there with a nice swing. Dupre's just trying to keep it off the ground. If you can keep Corey Lewis from taking full swings, that's about a 70%. It's not a great connection there. If you can get swings like that out of her, you're going to dig her well.
Duran lets it fly. Pope right back up front. And another kill. This time it's Ava Francis entering the scorebook.
So that's a great result there. Manuel Duran, she gets set out of the back row here, and she doesn't take much of a swing. She just rolls it into the block before we see that, and that soft block comes right back to Virginia Tech, and they're able to run offense out there to Ava Francis. That's a really, really heady play.
Sierra Cates turn to serve. Right side, off the top of the net, and finding some wood there. Nice kill from Sky Eakes.
That's a good block setup from Hannah Boer for Virginia Tech. Doesn't let Eakes just swing middle of the court. Eakes knows she has to turn harder cross towards zone 4, and you know, there's not a defender over there really to dig it, but it's a much harder spot to hit.
Sierra Cates with another serve. That point awarded to VT. And an attacking error. Sky Eakes with another one out of play.
Again, good block setup. Eakes wants to go line there. Only spot she can go line is right at Elena Dupre, playing right back or out of bounds or into the block. It's an opportunity to use out of bounds as another defender.
Fantastic serve again from Cates. Dug out by Gaona. Other side, Dupre bumps it up. Boer with the set and poked out of play. Florida State with an early lead.
I just think that set is a little flat. Never quite gets there. I mean, Ava Francis she's got some good size. She has a high attack point. Want to give her a chance to hit her highest point of her arm swing.
Holtquist, second serve tonight. Great dig up front. How about the quick touch?
That's the other thing with Boer. Boer is going to be very active tonight. She's gonna dial her own number whenever she has to, and this is a tight set here. We can see it. Tight path. She just turns on it. Right hand jams across court.
Boer with the serve, dug out. Swinging hard and finding hardwood. Florida State, Kylene Filamawa is so sound up front.
Some great tempo right there. Phelan setting the HUD outside. It's a really good delivery.
Gaona, tough save there. And Gaona cannot keep it up. She had 2 service aces coming into this contest. Nearly got one, but Virginia Tech turned that around quick, huh? Here's Elizabeth Aylward joining the action, freshman out of Nashville. Hokies also with a lot of youth on their roster. Gaona handles it fine. Dug out the other way, Boer with the set. Lewis, you bet.
So, dug ball, It's a good dig, 10 feet off middle of the court is where you want it. The ability to run Kara Lewis on a 31 right there, to deliver her a quick set in the middle, provides another dimension there for the Hokies.
And the Hokies want to talk things over. Chris Poole, 16 seasons. Marcy Byers with 4 years. A lot of experience on one side. The Hokies looking to wrap things up. Early tied up. We'll be back in a moment on the network.
Watching this match, I like her style. I'm kind of a sucker personally for that type of setter, that kind of smaller, undersized, athletic setter who can really dish. I think she's really going to do good things for the Seminoles this year. I mean, she's running at 5.5 assists per set. She's setting half of an offense. It's hitting 330 on the year so far. That's pretty good as a true freshman.
Draskovic with the float. And on the other side, new setter in, and the slam blocked up front. Another try. That one will find hardwood. Switching onto the court right now with Sydney Conley, and she got a second chance to capitalize.
Yeah, it's a nice set. That's a tough ball to hit as a right-handed right side. It's coming from almost back over the back of her head. She does a good job to locate it. Just guide it into the court.
Boer, bump set, Dupre, and that one's denied up front. Kylene Filamawa with the block.
Now, see, that's a good block, but there's virtually no coverage here for Virginia Tech. You know, everybody knows that Dupre's in a bad spot hitting against double block. I mean, Lewis is covering. Everybody else is kind of standing around and watching. Like, you have to sell out and come get right up underneath the point of attack there. You know, Dupre knows she's in a bad spot, and knowing that she has people there to cover allows her to take a full swing.
Mangual Duran entering the scorebooks, the Mizzou transfer.
It's a good swing here from Mangual Duran. Just little high seam, you know, kind of that high 1-6 seam, kind of not quite to the right back, not quite to the middle back.
And Florida State with another point. Now here's one of the big storylines, Jake, is that there's a little bit of an injury bug coming around with Chris Poole's Knowles, right? You've got Dupes and Rothman out. Two big pieces on defense. The Hokies, how do they capitalize on that?
We also haven't seen Koenig yet tonight either.
That's true.
So I think that Dupes is such a huge part of their serve receive. You know, you can't replace a player like that with experience, with talent. I think that Virginia Tech has to keep being aggressive in the service game. Keep going after them. Force them to receive at a high level.
Conley with the denial up front there. Number 15 in Florida State's garnet color there. Boer shoveling that one out. How about the slam from Dupre, but a dig on the other side. Conley lets it fly. Poked up. Mangual Duran, double touch from Conley. Quick tempo up the middle. Long rally here. Dupre dug out. Gayona sets it up, and that one slammed down. But the Hokies will get the point. Such a tough defense to get around with that height up front.
We're going to get a timeout here from Chris Poole.
Chris Poole wants to talk things over again.
Yeah, Filamawa here just blowing it long out of bounds. It's a good set. It's the right idea, too.
It's the Hokies and the Knowles. Big ACC competition. Jake, the big storyline, too. How important is it for these two teams to open up conference play 1-0?
I think it's bigger for Virginia Tech than it is for Florida State. I mean, you only get so many home matches, and you got to win at home in the league. Florida State, they've been there, done that, made the tournament the last couple years. Last year under really, really tough circumstances. I mean, everybody got hurt. They were held together with, baling wire and duct tape when they came to Blacksburg last season. I think that there's an opportunity here for both teams to start fast, but it's conference. It's a slog. The pressure is enormous once you get to ACC play. So it's a good start.
Yeah.
It's a good test.
How about that slight size difference up front with the outside hitters and middle blockers? Florida State with the slight advantage. I noticed Sydney Conley, when she came in, was a big difference maker. Now get this, she's 6'2", and she was asked if she had an autobiography what the title would be. She said The Life of a Tall Girl. I think that kind of speaks for itself, right?
I think that Florida State's more physical. They're bigger, they're more physical. The way that Virginia Tech negates that is by, again, taking them out of system, forcing them into bad passes. Florida State, they want to play a game. They're a little more comfortable playing high and slow. If they can keep the ball in system, keep their setters, not having to run too much, then they're able to slowly kind of apply that size and physicality advantage over the course of the match, and that wears you down. You can only sell out on defense so many times.
Elena Dupre out of Alexandria, Virginia. Commonwealth product with the serve here.
Ace.
And a service ace. Doesn't get too many of those. She gets plenty of kills, but hey, whatever you can take, right?
I think that, they've so far been trying to target Eakes in serve receive. I think that's a good move. You can see how far over Gayona's playing right now, trying to take the court. Like, I wouldn't even have Eakes in serve receive at that point. She's taking about 3 feet of sideline.
Eakes with a roll shot. Bohr with the set. Mangual tipped up front. Eakes again, and that one will sneak out of play. Eakes gravitizes that one.
Yeah, that's a tough matchup there. They get Eakes one-on-one with Bohr out here. Bohr is just not going to be a big blocker in that spot. Peterson can't close because of the good dig. Florida State finds a way out of it, but that's a rotation where you they really don't want Eakes passing there.
Duran with the receive. Tipped up. Florida State on a second chance. Eakes lets it fly. Roll shot. Bohr with the set.
Yeah.
Another emphatic slam.
So you can see with Virginia Tech, every single time they get any kind of reasonably good pass in transition off a duck ball, they're running middle attack. So they get a good dig straight to Peterson on a very quick slide out there. They're trying to apply where I think they have their advantages. They know that Kara Lewis can score. They're finding that Peterson can really score out of the middle. So forcing that in transition appears to be a big part of their game plan tonight.
Mangual Duran with the serve. And the kill on the other end from Conley.
Yeah. Florida State's going to score a lot when they're one-on-one. That's 2 swings in a row, one-on-one, this time against Ava Francis. If you're Francis, you got to know, good pass, you're probably going to be all by yourself out there. So you need to kind of sell out. Take more in the middle of the court. Make Conley hit at a defender.
Free ball for Virginia Tech. Bohr, back set. Change in tempo there.
Yeah,
Florida State gets the point.
No touch. It's interesting. Lewis in the middle for Florida State is playing these situations very honest. She is not cheating one way or the other right now on good passes. I think if they can really force it to either pin, they're going to have Virginia Tech will have an opportunity to score against her, maybe get some one-on-one swings of their own.
19-16 Knowles. And what do the Hokies do now, Jake, to try and claw their way back? It's been more competitive than some would have expected early on.
I mean, I think if you're Virginia Tech, you're hitting 180, hitting 179. That's not too bad, but you've got to find more good swings. I think the outside tempo looks off to me. The location looks a little bit low. Your outside hitters with Mangual Duran and especially Ava Francis, they have longer arm swings. You got to give them a little bit more time to uncork those arms to get some more hard swings.
Now, Marcy Byers, too, this is another hidden storyline, is looking for their first win versus Florida State as the leader of this Virginia Tech squad. And this is quite the series between these two, rather one-sided in favor of the Knowles.
Florida State's been good for a long time. Tallahassee's a tough place to play. I think that you have to take opportunities when you get them at home, and home especially at Castle Coliseum is not the easiest place to play in either.
And again, the Hokies haven't won a set versus Florida State since 2020 in the COVID season. Looks like a difference in strength of this Virginia Tech program now. Kind of feeling. You know, with the rise of this Hokies program, too, the environment in Castle rocks a little bit more every game. Float serve, the tip over. Gayona touches it up. Slam up front, it's dug out. Dupre with a nice save. And they'll find Hardwood. Hokies with a big comeback point out of the timeout.
I think Phelan's struggled to find Corey Lewis here. You know, it's still kind of a paintbrush swing from Lewis. Pretty easy dig, and they're able to transition outside to Francis for the kill.
Sarah Cates, defensive specialist. 11 service aces this year. Easy does it for Corey Lewis.
That's a better connection there for Lewis. She's able to get her whole hand on the ball right there. It's a good pass. Middle attack, slide, 2-ball hut. Lewis gets a double block. If you set her well, they're going to have a hard time even with a double block against her.
Here is Audrey Koenig with her first serve of the night. And a quick touch over. Hannah Borer with some good court vision, huh?
Okay, so when back in my day, that used to be an illegal move. You couldn't take that kind of two-handed set over dump right there. They would just call that a carry or a lift. They stopped calling that about, a decade ago, but it still gives me the heebie-jeebies when I see it. It's a good move, though.
Pancake and back up. Nice save, but it's a free ball for Florida State.
Woo!
And a quick touch over. FSU with the point.
All right, they're saying the ball was down.
Oh, man.
I'm not sure who had the call. It's either going to be the down ref or the line judge on that side with the call. I did not see. I don't see Marcy Byers looking to challenge it, so that's okay.
And here come the entrapped boos from all of the maroon-wearing fans here in Castle. Gayona with the serve, dug out on the other end from Mangual. Tip over and slammed right back down from the rafters. Kiari Roby finds Hardwood. 22-18, Virginia Tech calls timeout again. Back and forth early on, and again, closer than some have expected, Jake.
Yeah, I think it has to be a go time right now for Virginia Tech. You've got to find a side out. So they have Francis and Peterson Francis and Karen Lewis right now in the front row with Borer. This would typically be kind of a slide 4 opportunity here. So you send Lewis back on the slide behind the setter, Ava Francis on the outside. See if you can catch Roby in the middle for Florida State leaning one way or the other. They would also probably have Dupre available on a pipe or a D-ball out of the back row. I think the set here is if you can get the pass is Lewis. She's an efficient attacker. She's quick.
Yeah, Kara Lewis is one of the brighter personalities on this roster. 6'1" senior, Maryland transfer, and was an immediate difference last year.
Yeah, it took them. I feel like it took them a little while to realize exactly how good Kara Lewis could be for Virginia Tech. And I'm sorry, I got my rotation wrong. This is rotation 1, so it's Dupre on the left, Francis, and then Lewis. Watch Dupre up the middle here on a 2-ball, kind of right in the middle of the VT logo, with Kara Lewis sliding out to the right pin near the up ref.
Gayona with the serve.
Got the pass, didn't get the pass. Oh.
Slammed right back down. Can't do that up front. They're just gifting Florida State some points right now.
And Florida State knows this because they run a 6-2. They always have a back row setter. You can't pass tight like that when your setter's back row. There's nothing Borer can do here. She can't block it. It's a back row block. She can't attack it. It's a back row attack. She's just kind of at the mercy.
Mangual Duran with the bump up. On the other side, it's denied right back down. Kiari Roby out of her mind up front.
Yeah.
State 1 point away from taking set 1. Gayona, just a couple of service aces this year. That would be quite the way to capitalize. Here it is. Bumped up near net. Borer, quick tempo, touched up. Gayona. Tipped up. Hokies looking to save. Dupre, free ball for Florida State. Gayona, Phelan, and Snyder up front, but they touch net.
It's a double contact there on Phelan. She got a little aggressive, a little sloppy with her ball handling. Not the right set, though.
And the Hokies got to capitalize now. It'd have to be a 6-point swing to get back in it. Angel with the serve. Almost an error on the receive and a free ball for Virginia Tech. Bohr, Dupre denied up front, but the Hokies get it. Angel with a second chance. That one was poked out of play by inches. Phelan with the set. Denied up front, double touch, Snyder back over. What a save.
Good cover.
Dupre, denied. And that'll wrap things up. Florida State takes set one, 25-20. Easy does it for the Noles.
Is hitting a 111. Like, you have to force Florida State out of system right here. Make them set their outside. This is a bad pass. This is what you want right here. You have to win situations like this where they don't get to set their middles and right sides in tempo.
And that one swung out of play by Dupre. Florida State starts at 1-0 in set two. On the other side, it's a little bit of a difference in age. Hokies, their largest class is the sophomore class with 9 representatives there. But a couple of grad transfers have been pretty important. Ileana Rodriguez is going to be vital to the back end of this out of St. John's. Kara Lewis and a touch up front. Hokies with the point. But again, back to those transfers, right? Ileana Rodriguez and company will be vital. So we talk about experience, right? And the Hokies definitely have that age-wise. How big, especially in today's day and age of conferences, will the transfer portal be going forward?
I don't know. It's hard to say because I think what you saw so much in the last couple of years is you had a combination of the introduction of the transfer portal, but then also you had all these athletes who were on rosters in 2020 who all had these COVID years. And especially if you're playing at this level in the ACC, a lot of these students are in summer school. They're graduating with their undergrads in 3 years. And then they're getting an opportunity to take their one-time transfer as an undergrad. That's a good swing from Manuel Duran right there. Get her one-on-one against split block. So to finish that thought, you're getting a combination of a bunch of students who are graduating early. We see Manuel Duran here. Good, hard cross-court swing. And then everybody is taking their, has the grad transfer opportunity as well, usually with 1 or 2 years of eligibility left. This is the last class next year that can do that. So I think it'll start to stabilize a little bit moving into 2024 and beyond.
Bohr to Lewis.
That's a good swing.
Poked right back, free ball for VT. And Dupre finds hardwood this time. Listen to this crowd in Castle.
And they have to get Dupre going here. Dupre one-on-one finds the court. Up until that point, she'd been hitting negative 364 and 11 swings, 5 hitting errors and 11 swings. They put her in some bad spots so far, but they have to get her going, have to get her in the system.
Far side set, Snyder with the lefty swing. Bohr tries to get the save at net, and that's going to drop.
I think she just misjudged that. Might have lost it in the TV lights on the sides. It looks like she was well on her way and then just kind of got caught in the middle going for that.
Now, Maddie Snyder, despite being a freshman, was described as the, quote, best left-handed swinger I've had in a while on my roster, according to Chris Poole, who, as you know, has seen a lot of good players. How effective is it to be left-handed up front?
It's not a sport that's a good set there from Bohr to Kara Lewis. It's not a sport that's set up well for left-handed people, so they don't, they're probably underrepresented in terms of the population in volleyball. If you can find a good one, that's great because a lot of people aren't used to seeing it.
15% of people are born left-handed.
I'd say that fewer than 15% of volleyball players are left-handed. And that's
VT
Roby
with
going,
an emphatic point.
Yeah, it's Roby going over the net there. She broke the plane of the net in order to attack that ball. Typically, if you go with one hand like that and reach across the net on that kind of tight pass, overpass, that's when you're going to get called. If she goes up and acts like she's blocking, referees usually won't call it.
Conley will thread that one through, but it was touched up front. Virginia Tech just continuing to pile on points. Florida State a little overzealous with some errors at the net. Well, it looks like they will give that one to Florida State. Duran with the dig. Dupre. 2 straight kills for her.
Good pass from Manuel Duran. That's a split block there for Dupree. Dupree doesn't get too fancy there. She just takes it hard cross court. We'll say, Kyle, that in general in volleyball, velocity is underrated. If you have the chance, if you hit it really, really hard and you get dug, next time you get set, just hit it harder.
Gayona, tip up front. Easy one for Kiari Roby. Both teams have impressive offenses. Obviously, a little bit stronger in efficiency from Florida State. I mean, 333 overall. Joust up front. Duran with the save. And fed right through the middle from Lewis.
It's tough. Lewis is such a tough matchup one-on-one there. I think that they've got to give Peterson a little bit of help on that one ball and that quick in the middle. Lewis, her timing's been off. This time she was a little early. She on her way down when she hit that.
Duran got a piece of the finger up front. That was Droskovic who touched it out of play. Better start for the Hokies in this set?
Yeah, I think so. More aggressive here for sure.
Here is Duran with the serve. Float ball, mishap at the net, and that was gifted right to him. Sydney Peterson slams it down.
Take that all day.
Speaking of grad transfers, right? Out of Nevada.
Yeah. It's a little redirect here. You know, it doesn't look as cool as when you just absolutely crush one straight down. But it's a lot harder to make an error when you just go with a little two-hand redirect.
Yeah, a little bit easier when you're 6'2" as well.
There, and hey, we have
I'm seeing double.
the other option there. So the thing is you want, anytime there's an overpass, you want to kill it or keep it. You never want to hit it softly back to them. Either put it away or you pass it up and turn it into a free ball. Killing it is better.
Mangual Duran with another great serve.
So that was it. That was the third option. That was neither kill nor keep.
Hokies are rolling right now.
When we talked with Chris Poole this week, in preparation for the match, he had identified that, hey, their serve receive has struggled this year, and we've seen this so far in this little sequence with 3 overpasses in a row, essentially, has kind of exposed that a bit for Florida State.
All right, it's 10-5. Hokies with the early advantage. FSU leads the sets, but the Hokies looking to take set number 2 in a moment.
The 3 for me only at Chili's.
Island, really cool to see that she's used this, quote, as a format to promote athletes' likeness in today's day and age of NIL, Jake. Again, really good on the mic, but really good at volleyball, too.
Yeah, it's certainly a thing that everybody is still adjusting to see how it all shakes out. I think the opportunities are great. I think the chances to go put yourself out in the market and everybody else is getting paid. You know what I mean? Everybody else is getting paid, and I think that the opportunity for the athletes to take advantage of endorsement opportunities, of media opportunities, I think it's a really, really good thing. It's a long time coming, honestly. And so it's good to see someone who's got talent in another area be able to explore that talent.
Hokies lead the way 10-6. And how about the stop up front? Peterson has been incredible.
Yeah, it's a much better move from Sydney Peterson there, blocking one-on-one in the middle. Yeah, it's such a tough assignment trying to take Corey Lewis one-on-one. Peterson makes a good move, gets over early, drops that left hand, takes away that cross-court swing. If Lewis goes high over the top of her, gets a great set or whatever it is, scores, it's one thing. Peterson made her pay for a bad, kind of an okay set, an okay swing. That's all you can ask for from a middle blocker one-on-one.
With that frame, Hall of Fame intimidator, would you say? Right side, and Lewis will find hardwood. Florida State with a response. Now back to that NIL conversation, Jake. Former coach of Loyola, right? Yeah. Is it cool to see athletes get the opportunity to profit and benefit off of who they are?
Yeah, for sure. I think so. I think that, the value to brands and things like that for endorsements is going to vary from athlete to athlete.
Oh, man, Bohr with some magic at the net.
But again, there were a lot of opportunities, I think, over the years. I cannot remember the school. Remember, there was a football player 10, 15 years ago, a YouTuber. And basically the NCAA said, you got to pick between playing Division I football or being on YouTube. He said, well, I'm going to go do YouTube because I'm going to make millions doing that. I think that's silly to take away opportunities from college athletes.
Woo! What a dig from Rodriguez, but a response. Yeah, you don't want to put a ball right up at the net for Florida State right now.
That's a good swing for Philamala right there.
Yeah.
That's a good dig right here, and then Philamala just cleans it up. The high ones are tough. Those low overpasses are a little bit easier. I always found them easier. The high ones always spooked me a little bit.
Rodriguez gets the dig there. Touch over. Free ball at the net. Dupre. And Hokies point. Tipped out. Now, how do the Hokies continue this rhythm, right? Up 5? How do they build upon this advantage?
Service pressure, I think, is really important. They're taking good swings when they pass well. But at this point, you have to make Florida State execute offensively, and they're struggling right now.
Phelan, Snyder, dug out by Rodriguez. Hokies. Lewis slams it. Tipped up. Quick tempo this time.
Net.
And the Hokies lose that one as well. And it feels like the Noles are a team that once they get a rhythm, they snowball pretty quick.
Yeah, I mean, they're hitting 330 on the year. That's very, very good. I think that if you let them run their offense, you are not going to be in the match if you're Virginia Tech. And on Florida State side, it's okay. You know, the times where they don't get a good pass, can they make a manageable swing and play good defense behind it?
Some thump at the net. Second chance for Duran, and another denial. Oh, man. The height is really showing out for Florida State. Getting the stop there was Roby and company. (13-10) Hokies were up as much as 6 in this set early on. Out of the timeout, Chris Poole and company coming right back. And another receiving error from Virginia Tech. How do you reset a rhythm when you're not receiving as well as you want to?
I mean, it's the fundamental part of the sport. It's serve and pass. You just got to know where your miss has to be, and your miss when Bohrer's back row, and even when Bohrer's front row. Bohrer's 5'9", she's not 6'2". Your miss has to be off the net. Like you'd rather miss 10 feet off or 15 feet off than 1 foot over, because you're losing that point, that situation. You're losing that 100% of the time. Angels got to know, keep that ball off the net, and then we live to fight another day.
Well, FSU's offense is incredibly efficient. We mentioned it at the top of the broadcast, 330 hitting percentage. I mean, how do you stop that up front, right? One of the best offenses in the entire country, let alone the ACC.
Yeah, and tonight they're hitting 288. They're getting a ton of production out of their middles and right sides. Left sides are okay. I think they're missing. They left Audrey Rothman at home on this trip. She didn't make the trip to Blacksburg. She would be a normal starter on the left side. And then Koenig as well hasn't played front row tonight. So they're doing it tonight, down several pieces.
Yeah, do you find that peculiar as well, that we haven't seen as much of Koenig as we expected?
Well, we talked a lot about Koenig on our coaches call with Chris Poole yesterday, and he just forgot to mention, I guess, that she wasn't going to play front row. But I mean, coaches can often be cagey about things and don't like to give anything away. So far, they're getting okay production right now. And, Eakes is hitting negative 167 still, and Philamala is picking up a little bit, but still only positive 167.
Still struggling with receives, but that was a great serve this time. Droskevich threading it through.
Yeah, this kind of drop float, I think it's kind of a softer float. I think too many receivers, you can see Rodriguez move up here. Too many receivers kind of wait for this thing to get to you. These soft ones, you have to go attack them. Yeah, that's not a tough serve.
Dupre denied at the net. Kylene Philamala, freshman out of Bothell, Washington. Not many Washington natives on this roster on the other side.
Long way from the state of Washington to Tallahassee, Florida.
Very interesting state flag over in Washington, right? They got that green background with George Washington on it. You ever seen it?
I have. I was told about it. I thought it was someone was trying to pull one over on me. It is a very strange flag if you have ever seen the Washington State flag.
On the other hand, the Puerto Rican flag is very beautiful. And Leandra Mangual Duran, the Puerto Rican out of Mizzou, just got a big kill there. She's been kind of leading the way offensively for Virginia Tech. Up front and denied. Hokies with 2 straight points. Peterson this time.
Nothing to block here from Peterson in the middle. If you're Roby, you've got to find an angle, left or right. Hit it to either corner.
Pancake. Back up. Here's a free ball for Florida State. Borer with the poke over and the slam down.
Yeah, much better from Roby there. So she takes that cross body. She goes thumb up as she swings her. So her thumb is almost pointed to the ceiling as she hits that ball and swings across her body to hit to her left, the defensive right. Peterson's taught to take away as much as she can, as we're going to see a really good move here from Ileana Rodriguez. Yeah, all over that. She almost gets it on her forearm instead of her hand.
Peterson, pinball machine, but it finds the hardwood, and the Hokies have another point.
Yeah, Borer makes a really nice set here. She's still back row. She's able to go one-handed, keep it alive, pops it to Peterson. Peterson's available.
6 kills for Peterson so far. Dupre with the serve. Right side, Conley dug out. Borer with the set. Dupre, it's like the Great Wall of China at the net right now. Florida State with so much height. They're coming from the rafters.
So it's pretty clear that Dupre was a big part of their scouting report because they've had double blocks on her all night. It's a big move from Roby coming late. They're going to need to find, if they want to keep Dupre involved in the offense, they're going to have to find some different places to run her.
Duran with the roll shot.
It's tight set.
Conley, Rodriguez, Borer. Back to Duran. You bet.
Leandra Mangual Duran right there gets the very rare completely open net with no block on the left side. You only get so many of those in your life, Kyle. You have to hit those as hard as you possibly can.
If I could jump above the net, I certainly would. Lewis. That's easy.
Yeah, Peterson's just having a really hard time timing Lewis. She gets a better read on Roby, I think. Good to see. She's way out of position there. Lewis's shoulders are facing almost towards the camera from that camera angle, so facing very hard to her own right defensive left. Peterson has to read that ahead of time and try and get in a better position. Otherwise, what happens is Ava Francis just gets lit up.
Francis. And there we go, the Hokies back and forth. Here comes Kara Lewis and company. 2-point advantage for the Hokies. Well, moments ago they were up 6, went down to a tie, and now they're back up with a small lead. Poked at the net, Lewis back up in the air, Duran. Now Francis's turn, roll shot. And Gayono with the receive. Snyder. Francis again. Poked up. And they won't get that one over in the time. Oh.
That should be 4. Yeah.
Yep, 4 touches. 18-17. And if you're Virginia Tech, how vital is it to not let Florida State retie this set right now?
You want to be the first team with 20 here if you can be.
Dupre, great receive, swinging over and denied at the net. Lewis was running over to try and get that one in, but they do get the point.
Yeah, blocked out of bounds there by Filamawa.
And you can see the expression on Filamawa's face. Totally read the swing, but couldn't get it down.
Big block.
Dupre. Poked out a play. Hokies first 1 to 20.
Dupre, to her credit here, is trying to grind it out. She's still hitting negative, almost negative 150. She gets a moving block there. Again, hard cross court. Catches the middle blocker, making a late move.
Marcy Byers looking to talk things over. And you can see the exclamation from Kevin Cardoza, John Wazlewski, Caleb Adams and company, the assistant coaches under Marcy Byers over at their bench. I mean, what does a conversation like this look like right now, especially with a three-point advantage?
You're talking about Florida, scouting report on Florida State. They're going to have it mapped. They're going to have every single one of Florida State's rotations as they move through their lineup mapped out with tendencies. Who are they going to set? What do they like to run? Florida State doesn't do anything particularly complicated. They're going to go outside tempo. They're going to go quick middle attack. They're going to run right side on something. It's going to be pretty simple here. So you're talking about who are they most likely to set? What are our reads as blockers? And then what's our plan? If it's me, I'm saying, okay, what's our plan if and when they side out? Even if you win this set, you're probably not winning at 25-17. So there is going to be a time where Virginia Tech has to side out themselves.
Elena Dupre leads the way easily for the Hokies' top scorers. On the other side, it's Audrey Koenig coming into this contest for Florida State. She had 114 coming into this contest, but we haven't seen all too much from her. So you talk about game planning and scouting on Florida State. Well, we haven't seen their top scorer. Does that affect the game plan for Virginia Tech?
I don't think so. I mean, it probably makes maybe certain other people getting set more likely. But on a good pass here, they're going Corey Lewis. Like, I'm setting Corey Lewis until they stop her. I mean, she's hitting 545 right now on 11 swings. 7 kills, 1 air, and 11 swings. Virginia Tech hasn't really shown an ability to slow her down. Good pass, set her. The question is Virginia Tech going to try and commit an extra wing blocker to try and slow Lewis down on a good pass?
And they go to Koenig. Dump easy for Lewis.
So I don't know what the issue is with Koenig, because we expected her to play front row today. She may be on some sort of no jump limitation, but she's in there to pass and receive and play back row.
Well, she can dig just fine. 84 of them coming into this contest. And just finding the inside of the white line was Lewis.
I would have had a good look at it. My monitor blocked that. That's a great swing from Corey Lewis right there. If you're Virginia Tech and someone hits it there, move on. Like, that's a great swing.
Yeah.
The other team's allowed to do good things too.
Gayona lets it fly. Float ball, and here's Borer with the set. Francis poked up. Phelan, back set. Snyder with the lefty swing, and you bet. Man, Snyder, left-handed freshman, she's pretty talented, huh?
Yeah, Snyder gets out of tempo on that swing. She's on her way down. She jumped early. The blockers jumped with her, so she's on her way down swinging. The blockers are on their way down. So it's a little bit easier for her to tool and hit deep.
Rodriguez with the receive. Francis again. Hokies point. How many times have we seen Virginia Tech allow Florida State to get back within a point and then reset to that, let's say, 3-point differential they've been hovering around all set?
One of the things as you get better as a program and learn throughout the season over years is good dig. Is how to close out sets.
Phelan, quick tempo. Hokies handle it fine. Rodriguez with the set. Dupre denied at the net. And Lewis does it again.
Such a good sequence there from Virginia Tech. Ileana Rodriguez, board, digs, Roby there in the middle, just stones her. Rodriguez bump sets right side. Dupre gets blocked, but then Rodriguez right there to cover, and they're able to run Lewis in the middle and quick.
Denial at the net from Lewis and company. Second chance for Florida State. What a receive on the other side. Olivia Angel sets it up, and Duran gets the point. All-around effort from the Hokies, and now it's set point.
What a super dig right here from Angel. She's way out of position. She should be way more towards the ACC logo in the middle of the court. She reads it deep line, comes and makes a perfect dig. What a move.
Phelan, and now Snyder's turn. Great effort from Ileana Rodriguez, but Florida State will reach the 20-point mark. You can feel the tension, right? Hokies haven't won a set versus Florida State in over 3 years. looking to change a little bit of history right now, maybe en route to an overall victory.
If it's me, I'm trying to run Kara Lewis here on something quick. A 1 ball or hopefully a 31. Find her open space.
Fake to Lewis. Duran. And Lewis again. Hokies with their first set versus Florida State in over 3 years. 25-20.
And/or we got to find a different pieces to put out there. So I think that it's encouraging. I think that they got to find a way to flip the switch to, hey, we can win this match, not just we can be competitive with Florida State.
Florida State opens up with serve here in set 3. It's a 1-1 score. Both teams with 45 points through 2 sets. And an immediate denial up front from Hannah Bora and Kara Lewis.
The Koenig thing is fascinating because she's approaching in the back row and she's expecting to get set. It's curious. We really expected to see her play front row and be a big part tonight.
I think they're kind of throwing a different look at Virginia Tech, right? But they've handled it fine so far. Rodriguez with the bump set. Francis lets it fly. It's out.
Attacking Aaron, point Florida State.
Virginia Tech looking for a touch there. Didn't find one. Not worth challenging. Not close enough. They're hard to see anyway on replay.
So in case you missed it, last set, Hokies take it 25-20. And in the Marcy Byers era, that is the first time her and the Hokies have defeated Florida State through a set in the past 3 years. Now, Marcy Byers is still looking for his first victory overall versus Florida State.
So that's a really smart sequence there from Virginia Tech. So Florida State's always going to have a back row setter. They send the free ball back row. Florida State has to go a high ball because their setter's taking the first ball. They go to a high bump set. Virginia Tech's able to get a reasonable dig, transition to middle, kill.
Olivia Angel with the serve here. Didn't play last game, has been a big piece this time around. And how about a little bit of a service ace? First one of the year for Olivia Angel.
So Koenig now in the front row here.
First time we've seen that. Dupre. And now Lewis denied at the net. They'll go to Duran this time. Dug out by Gayona. And here's the first swing of the night from Audrey Koenig. Dupre with a second chance. Tipped up. And that one will find the ground. Hokies with a point. Angels' third serve in a row. Conley. Easy does it for her.
So I wonder if Koenig has been nursing a little bit of an injury and they thought that possibly they could get through tonight without her having to hit, without her having to take all those jumps, and because she looks pretty spry and pretty springy out there.
Deflected out of play. Hokies with a 5-2 lead jumping out here in set 3. What has been the change since the beginning of set 2?
Virginia Tech's found their rhythm and Florida State lost theirs. Again, you can force other teams to play shaky volleyball, to play bad, to struggle by keeping pressure on them in servicing, keeping pressure with quick middle. Yeah, that's just what?
Oh, they're going to say that was up. Another chance. Koenig dug out by Rodriguez.
We'll see a challenge here if Virginia Tech wins this for sure.
Fantastic receive from Gayona. Rodriguez for the Hokies. Now Duran again. I can't believe they said that didn't find any hardwood there. Koenig with another chance.
Yeah, I guess they're saying that it hit Borer in the foot, which happens. So Chris Poole's asking both referees here. He's asking Brian Jones, who's the down ref right now, wasn't that ball down? Then he just asked Daniel Leake, who's the up ref, or R1, did he see it? Daniel said he saw it. So typically, I think that it hit her foot. Both officials think that it hit her foot. We'll see what the replay says.
Well, one of the fastest sports, right? And it looked like it found the maroon paint of that V in the VT logo, but supposedly it was off the foot of Borer.
Hopefully
Very
here
interesting
we're going to
look
get a look
there.
at it here in a second. We saw it live. I mean, the the way it popped up in the air, I could see it having hit a foot, but I don't know.
Well, if anyone knows me, they know I'm not the most keen of eye.
This was a quick one. It was down.
Well,
That was one of the quickest reviews I have seen since we implemented the CRS system.
and the Hokie faithful are saying no way.
That must have not even been close. And I think he took about one look at it and moved on.
Yeah, I don't know how to break it to these Virginia Tech fans. But
Yeah, if it happens that fast, it wasn't close. So fast we couldn't even get a look at it.
All right, so it's Florida State point.
Moving on.
5-3. Kenna Phelan, true freshman who's really led the way as a setter for Florida State. On the other side, quite the hit from Peterson.
That's really tight.
Koenig couldn't do anything about that one.
Such a tough spot as an outside hitter because that ball is so tight, it's so far inside. The ways to win that are you either got to go strong or you got to get there early. And she's so far away on her approach, it's hard to get there early. And so if you come in and you kind of go soft and just kind of stick a fist at it, you're never going to win that spot.
Phelan to Snyder, dug out. And now Duran with a free ball to the Knowles. Phelan sets it up, easy does it for Corey Lewis.
Yeah, they're going to have to find a way to throw another blocker or a different look at Corey Lewis. Now it's a free ball, it's a great pass. You know Lewis is going to be efficient, but you can't let her hit 571, which is where she's at right now.
Tonight at the net, but the Hokies will get the point. Despite the lucky serve, too.
Yeah, that ball gets through Lewis's block there. She doesn't quite penetrate, doesn't quite seal the block. Peterson's swing. See, Lewis, she makes some advance. She covers ground so quick. She doesn't quite get that right hand across the net, so it sneaks down in between her and the net. Kill, man. She makes that move so well, though.
3-point lead for Virginia Tech. Florida State switching up tempos. There's a float shot from Snyder. At the net, slammed down, poked back over by Florida State on 2. Now Francis lets it fly. Phelan sets it up, Snyder again. What a save by Dupre. Francis, roll shot. Set back up. Snyder with another chance. This time it finds the hardwood.
Kill by Florida State's number 10, Maddie Snyder. Now serving for the Seminoles, number 23, Ella Gayona.
Back and forth. And what would it look like on the resume of the Hokies with a Florida State win to open up ACC play?
It would be a great step forward and a great confidence builder. I think that it's an opportunity to show people that you're for real. I think Florida State's going to be pretty good this year.
Now serving for Virginia Tech.
Florida State struggling to clean up their receives a little bit as the Hokies have put together a couple of points in a row now.
There's a very, very long way to go, Kyle.
Right up the middle.
So there, in that situation, you can turn around, Kara Lewis is a blocker right there, look at your defenders. That whole sequence starts with the serve. The serve is soft, middle of the court, easily passed, easily handled. Florida State's middles are too good. Perfect pass, you can't guard that consistently. I don't care what defense you are, I don't care what blockers you have. If you're going to let them run quick middle all day, then you're gonna lose those points.
Kiari Roby has been a presence up front. Service ace for Florida State, too. And they're right back in it. So Audrey Koenig finally getting the chance to serve the ball a little bit here. She had 4 service aces coming into this contest. 2022 All-ACC second teamer. Here's Droskovic. Dupre. And now Francis with a left-handed touch over. And Florida State with a point.
Yeah, it's Bohr missing her location there as she's moving forward. The pass is left to center on the court as she's moving forward. She's got to find a way to soften that set, give it a little bit more air. If you still try and jam that outside set kind of through the zone, you risk running it wide, which is what happened. Francis never really had a chance at that.
Kara Lewis poked up and out of play. A lot of velocity on that one.
Point Hokies. And a Borer now serving.
And a Borer's turn. Had 52 assists last year. Or versus ECU, excuse me, in their last game. How about Rodriguez with the dig? Borer looking for another assist, denied at the net. Roby, such a presence up front. All knotted up, 9 apiece. Dug out by Duran, one-handed set, and slammed over. Koenig from the rafters, but it's dug out. Quick tempo across, and Lewis gets it to land.
Yeah, they're going to have to find different points of attack on less than perfect passes because Florida State is just teeing off on any kind of medium to bad pass by Virginia Tech. They're committing hard left side here. Being able to find Lewis, essentially open net there. Conley comes to help out, but Roby misses the assignment. Ooh.
Conley.
Oh, I thought Broskowicz went down hard there, too, in the net. Seems like she's all right.
Just wide there. Yeah, you don't want to see that. Injury bug has caught a little bit of the Noles right now. Of course, Emery Dupes, Audrey Rothman, two vital pieces in terms of receives for Florida State are missing. Another swing up front, just out of reach. Hokies with another point on the attacking error this time.
And Chris Poole's hoping to get Audrey Rothman back soon. She didn't make the trip, but Dupes is done for the year. Tore ACL, just a freak accident in preseason this year.
Yeah, Rothman's been out for the past couple of games. Dupes out before the season even started with an outside hitter and then your starting libero, right? So two guys who have really been experienced in terms of receiving the ball. And you know what? Florida State has a chance to clean that up. It's an awfully tight game. 12-9 your score. 1-1 overall. We'll be back in a moment from Castle Coliseum. It's the Hokies and the Noles on the network.
The 3 for me only at
1-1 set score. Hokies and the Noles in Blacksburg, Virginia. Virginia Tech playing host. But it's a 12-9 lead for Virginia Tech, looking to take their second set in a row. Kyle Marshak with Jake Lawrence. Back and forth matchup. Virginia Tech proving that they can hang with the big dogs in the ACC early on. Olivia Angel with the serve. Tough receive from Koenig. Rodriguez, Borer, and an easy slam. Duran this time.
Yeah, that's the kind of offense you want to run here if you're Virginia Tech to get the free ball situation. And this is kind of that one ball hold, that middle attack from Kara Lewis holds Kiari Roby right in the middle, and they're able to run able to run the left side attack right there very easily.
Rodriguez couldn't find that one. Ileana does lead the way in digs so far. 17 tonight.
Excuse me, Leandra Mangual Duran. I was struggling
couple of tongue
there.
twisters.
Struggling there to speak today.
Rodriguez with another dig. Dupre, soft tip over. How about the court vision from the senior?
Well, in that spot, there's no libero on the floor because Roby was serving there. Roby playing middle back, which means Filamau is playing left back, which is not her typical position. Maybe take advantage of that with the short tip there.
Conley trying to find it, and they save it after the denial from Peterson. Hokies will get the point.
They just called that 4 contacts on Florida State, saying the block never touched the ball.
And Chris Poole with that same expression again.
I think this is going to be challenged, and I think it should be challenged.
And
yeah, you can see.
Now you see Andjelia Draskovic speaking with the net ref.
You can see Brian Jones talking to Chris Poole off camera, saying that the block never touched it, but it looked like it did.
It's one of those moments like Major League Baseball where you wish you had the umps mic'd up, right? And the conversation continues.
Well, the fun thing is, the last couple years, the officials started using basically a radio system between them, so they're able to communicate during the point. So we're looking for a block touch here by Virginia Tech. If they did not touch the ball, then it's going to be 4 contacts. I think they did, looking at it live, but what the camera's going to say, what the video's going to say, we'll see.
Let's check this out.
This is a great look. That's absolutely touched by Manuel Duran. Like, her right hand is all over that. Watch 17's right hand here. I think that's touched. I thought it was touched live. We had a pretty good look at it.
You wear contacts, no glasses from you. You've got that 20/20.
And really bailed out.
Yep.
That's tight. It's close. It's close.
Here's the good stuff.
Yes, right there. That's a fantastic look from our crew. You see Manuel Duran's right hand just right on top of it.
Clear as day.
Clear as day.
They're taking plenty of time over there, though.
They're taking a lot of time.
And that begins that conversation of the correlation between time taken to make the decision and how difficult the decision is.
They have all the looks that we have, plus some extras. And that last one from the net camera is, I don't know how it could be more definitive. So this will, if it is overturned, it will be a replay. Right hand, right there. Yes, right there. I mean, that is.
Now, is this an official review, or did Chris Poole call this one?
There is no official review. It has to be, it's only challenge, only coaches' challenges.
I figured as much. Now, Chris Poole has been accurate today, 1 for 1.
He pulled the green card. I don't know what we could possibly be waiting for.
That's a lot of screen time over there. Chris Poole, second winningest active D1 coach right now. And more conversation with Blue Jerseys and company.
This is making sure the scorebook is correct. Everyone's where they're supposed to be. What?
Wow. So the three-time ACC Coach of the Year was wrong, I suppose.
What?
15-10 Hokies.
That is that is remarkable, because I thought we had a pretty good look at that.
Back to action. Lewis right off the bat. Now Borer has to reach over for that one. Set back up. Lewis again. Out of play. Florida State with a comeback point.
Yeah, if you give Lewis a second bite at that apple, she's going to be really good there in transition.
Kind of feeling 8 service aces coming into this game. Float shot up the middle. Dupre threads the needle. It's dug out over the top of her defensive specialist there.
Oh, that's a tough free ball right there.
Duran poked up at the net. Phelan. And a left-handed touch by Snyder. Dupre again. Saved up. Hokies with the point.
I think getting Dupre going here is big. That actually gets Elena Dupre to 8 kills with 7 errors on 23 swings. It actually gets her into a positive hitting percentage here for the first time all night. A good, high, hard swing. It's tough because Phelan's back there playing defense. Hard for her to transition to get that dig.
Lewis dug out by Dupre and company, and they can't reach it. Peculiar to see Dupre in the negatives up until now.
Yeah, I think that Florida State's had a good game plan for her early in the match, especially set 1. I think they asked her to take some really difficult swings into double blocks in bad situations. So she took a couple for the team there, especially in the first set. As she gets better, though, I think that gives Virginia Tech more options.
Duran with some velocity. Quite the save by Koenig, though. Soft touch over. Dupre with the bump. Borer will send it over. Snyder.
Yeah, it'll be interesting. There's, no touch off the block here. That is off the tape, out of bounds.
Tough look for Snyder. A lot of velocity on that, but just rode the white until it found out of bounds.
Sometimes it can fool you when you hit one to the top of the tape like that, where it looks like the block touched it. Referees, I think, got that one right that time.
Duran lets it fly. Hokies lead it by 5 in set 3. That's a home run.
Woo!
Kylene Filamawa with a laugh on her face.
I just saw her say, "Oh my God," and put her hand over her mouth. That's great. We have all done it. I'm sorry. There's no shame in this. She's trying to make a shot. She gets a bad hand on it and sails from 30 feet out of bounds. That's okay. Like, you just got to move on to the next one.
Is that just a mistimed jump right there? Or?
Yeah, I mean, it's a really tough spot. I mean, you're 12, 13, 14 feet off the net. That bump set's really, really high. And I think she was trying to make something happen there. And sometimes when you try to make something happen, you make a mistake. It's okay. If volleyball, it's a tough sport because if you make a mistake in basketball, if you miss your assignment, your guy doesn't automatically score. Volleyball, if you make a mistake, it usually directly results in the other team getting a point. So you have to learn to live with not being perfect and seeing your mistakes turn into points for the other team. You learn to get over it after a while.
Well, we talked about it, right? These two coaches have managed rosters that have stayed pretty steady so far, but Florida State's defense is the one that's impacted between these two rosters. Relatively sound up until this year with, Dupes being out and Rothman as well. So we see in the value right there that it's changed a little bit from year to year.
Yeah, and I think that, Florida State's blocking above those averages tonight. They're over 3.5 blocks per set right now tonight. Virginia Tech, though, is certainly hitting well at 279. I mean, I think the best judge of a defense is opponent hitting percentage. We see Florida State coming in tonight. Opponents are hitting 263. I know Chris Poole and his staff and his players aren't happy with that. They've got to find a way to put the clamps on people a little bit more. If you let ACC teams hit 265, 270 against you every night, it's hard to win.
Ella Gayona, that's the one we were getting a shot of there, is the true freshman libero for Florida State in replacement of Dupes. Another swing just out of reach.
And I think it's important, Kyle, to realize that defense isn't just blocking and digging. I think it's a huge part of it is your service game, and then also what kind of swings you're taking as an offense, especially in non-ideal situations. Are you making things hard on the other team to transition, and setting up your defense that way too?
Going short on the serve, and Lewis slammed that one a little low.
If you look at the best blocking teams in the country over the last 10, 15 years, your Nebraskas, your Penn States, your Texases, they're also excellent, excellent serving teams.
Duran with a lucky one, poked right back. Hokies are on their A game.
Chris Poole's out of timeouts here. There's no way for him to stop this set.
And you can see it a little bit on his expression, thinking, how do we remap this set? Hokies just have to win 4 more points to grab a set lead in this match. Bad receive. Koenig recovers. Here's Snyder. Dupre. And now Borer with the far set. A backswing from Duran. Phelan's got to chase it down. Florida State lets it fly. There's Koenig from the back. Francis, you bet.
It's a good delivery there from Hannah Borer to Ava Francis. Long cross-court outside set.
Speaking of transfers, right, out of Arizona, Ava Francis, the redshirt sophomore. She's had quite the journey in volleyball, going from her hometown of Plain City, Ohio, out to Arizona, and then, of course, here in Blacksburg. She's made a difference so far. No stopping the Hokies right now. They lead it by 10 in set 3.
And you can see kind of how thin things are for Florida State here as they don't really have anybody to change out here.
Filamawa trying to grab the point. No tip. Hokies 1 point away.
You know, Eakes was hitting negative. Conley's already in the rotation, you know, playing right side. There aren't a whole ton of changes that Florida State can make in this spot.
Hokies looking for set 3. Easy receive. Messed up at the net, and now Koenig's got to let it fly. A roll shot, and she found the hardwood.
If you're Florida State, you're down 24-13 right now. The chances of you winning this set are virtually zero. What you're trying to do is how many points can we generate here? How can we find a rhythm? Can we find 4 or 5 points? Can we make this 25-18, you know, and play some good volleyball and try and build something for the next set.
Gaona with the serve on the other side, just out of reach. Nice save, Jake. Nearly took me out. All right, so 2 straight points for Florida State, but you've got a 10-point lead if you're Virginia Tech. Chris Poole laser focused right now on his Seminoles, though.
Yeah, if you're Virginia Tech, you're trying to do the same thing. You're trying to finish this quickly.
Dug out by Dupre.
Don't give Florida State a chance to find any rhythm here.
Gaona, Filamawa finally gets the kill she's been looking for. 3 straight points for the Noles.
If I'm Marcy Byers, I'm not calling timeout anytime soon. This is a really high set. I think Virginia Tech has struggled on these high out-of-system swings on left side and right side for Florida State. They're a little too early on their block.
With some velocity, but Gaona recovers. Oh, what a dig by Rodriguez. Duran chases it down. Rodriguez. Free ball over to Florida State. Can they capitalize? Dug out by Dupre this time. And the slam by Francis. You bet. Hokies take set 2.
Throwback.
Hannah Borer to open up set 4 from Blacksburg. And immediately Florida State with some velocity, but a dig from Rodriguez. Francis lets it fly. And a poke over at the net. Duran, Borer to Lewis, denied, and it finds hardwood. Florida State opens up with a point here in set 4.
Yeah, another good run to Lewis here. They're finding her one-on-one. That set's got to be higher. That's got to give her a chance to work around the block.
Francis, this time it goes through as she threads the needle. 1-1.
This one's on Corey Lewis here. I mean, that one's on Corey Lewis. The back row setter. She's jumping with a back row setter. Borer can't do anything. The middle's not really there, so that leaves Conley one-on-one outside. Makes a much easier kill on the left side. You have to be more disciplined in the middle.
Conley, another great dig by Rodriguez. Dupre pokes it over, but an error beforehand, and the Hokies drop the point.
Yeah, Marcy Byers does not like that call at all, that double contact call here on Borer. It's hard to find the line because the line has moved so much over the last 5 years, I'd say, with ball handling. I think if you watch the really, really highest levels, if you watch the Big Ten, if you watch, you know, Louisville, Stanford last week, they're letting that call go.
Easy does it this time. Duran threads the needle. Now, what is Byers, a former 4-time Big South Coach of the Year with Radford, looking to continue from the past couple of sets versus Florida State?
Keep the pressure on. Keep making them work for it. I would be serving Koenig a ton here. She has not gotten going offensively. I think she's been a little shaky in serve receive, and therefore you keep putting the pressure specifically on her to try and find her offensive rhythm.
Duran from the rafters this time.
Yeah, you want to try and make it hard for her to find her offensive rhythm by continuing to serve her repeatedly. Another good run here. Lewis got to stay that time with Peterson on the perfect pass, and while Duran is wide open on the left side.
Easy receive. Here's Phelan setting it up, and Koenig with another kill. Again, inauspiciously quiet so far, but now Koenig's starting to open things up with her 3rd kill of the night. And here's a serve. They're liking Duran in this set, Jake. Dupre stopped at the net. Florida State will take an early lead.
You have to know which blocker you're going to attack there. If you're Dupre, if you're going to go cross court, you have to go hard cross. Otherwise, you're right into Corey Lewis. I'd be trying to work Philly Mallet as much as possible. Attack the left side blocker.
Quick tempo. Peterson trying to find the hardwood, couldn't do it. And an attacking error from Filamawa.
I mean, apologies to my friends and any fans that are left side hitters, but they're not known for being great blockers. You know, I would always go after a left side before I try and take on a middle blocker.
Dupre with the serve. And misreceived by Koenig. You said it, Jake. Trying to attack Koenig on those serves.
I think Filamawa's been fine, and then Gayora's the libero, so Koenig's the obvious person to pick here with your serve.
Dupre will sling another one. Right at Gayona this time. Lewis denied at the net. Prodded back up. Snyder dug out by Rodriguez. And a soft tip over by Duran.
Oh.
And it stays in.
Yeah, I think it's in. It's in.
Koenig and company getting the point.
Yeah, Rodriguez was convinced here this ball was out. And she just doesn't have a good look at it. It's a tough spot. Ooh. Well, they're not going to challenge it, so.
In the past. At the net, a joust. Not in the favor of the Hokies just yet. Borer with the set. Duran with another chance. Poke back up. Dupre. Rodriguez mishaps it.
Both teams need to get organized here.
Soft tip over. Rodriguez with a free ball. Duran out of play.
Leandra Manuel Duran there. I think I like that swing from her. She knows she's double blocked. She knows she has a high ball out of system situation. She's swinging for hands there. She's looking for the block on that swing, trying to tool the block, trying to hit it off hands, off fingertips, out of bounds where no one can dig it. It's a smart swing. Just didn't quite execute.
Roll shot this time. Snyder lets it fly. Dug out and back. Dupre. Gayona with the dig. Here come the Knolls. Roll shot, and the Hokies can reset. Duran again. And just out of reach. Duran with an unwillingness to really go cross-court right now.
No, I think Gary Roby's right there, and I think it's not a great set to do it on. One thing I'd like to see Virginia Tech right now do a little bit more on these out-of-system swings where they're probably not going to get a kill is hit those roll shots, hit those tips and things like that to the back row setter for Florida State.
Easy does it for Roby.
Because I don't think Florida State is particularly comfortable right now when their setter digs the ball. And with that 6-2 offensive system as we swing, well, line judge has it in. We're not going to see a challenge from Marcy Byers here. But as you keep working that setter, make them take the first ball, make the libero set. Florida State hasn't looked great in those situations. I think you can find some small edges there over the course of the set, over the course of the match by continually making them play with non-setters taking the second contact.
Setter swing from Borer this time. And it won't work in their favor. Fingertips up front. Florida State with 4 points in their advantage. All right, 9-5, FSU looking to come back and tie it up 2-2. For now, the Hokies lead it. We'll be back.
It was a big deal. I remember in 2008 at the Final Four in Omaha when they put 17,000. Big side out here from Manuel Duran. I remember in 2008 when they put 17,000 plus in the Quest Center in Omaha for the Final Four, and everyone's like, man, it blew everyone's minds. They said, okay, well, that was a really truly special event. We're starting to see these huge crowds again and again and again the last several years. The Nebraska thing blew my mind. I mean, that's just wild.
You've been in the volleyball world for a while now, right? And would you say it's been exponential the past couple of years?
I think it's been building for the last 20, 25 years. What I've noticed is I've seen it start to pick up mainstream notice with non-volleyball fans who are just general sports fans. I've seen people take notice, people that I have followed on social media or Twitter and things like that taking notice overseas of something like the Nebraska thing. They're all fascinated with our obsession with college sports anyway, but the idea of 92,000 for a volleyball match is pretty wild.
Joust at the net. Francis couldn't get it to go. Conley on the other side for the Noles. Here come the Hokies again. Francis, another try. Gayona's been so sound as the libero, despite being a true freshman for Florida State.
I think she's played very well tonight.
Another touch by Gayona. Slammed over. And Florida State continues to extend upon a lead here in set 4.
Yeah, last piece of the crowd thing. I remember several years ago, the men's European Championships, internationals. We see here with Filimao just taking that hard, deep swing. Poland and Serbia played in Poland's National Football Stadium. They played on the middle of the field. And they put like 80,000 people in there. So that's Poland's national sport. And that's Serbia's national sport, and they're each other's biggest rivals. That makes sense, but to see women's volleyball explode the way it has the last several years is really remarkable.
Well, speaking of Poland and Serbia, here's the lone Serbian talent on the court right now, Draskovic with the serve. And she'll let it fly. Peterson denied at the net. Nice save by Duran. Borer with the quick set to Dupre. A lot of long rallies in this final set. Free ball for Virginia Tech. Francis just out of reach. Florida State's point.
I would just seeing it. We have a very good angle at that set right there. I love the tempo. I love what they're trying to do on the outside, Virginia Tech. I would just, especially for Francis, like to see that ball like another ball's width higher.
Draskovic.
I think she had. That's the set. Oh!
There you go.
Ask and you shall receive, Kyle. I just think with Francis and her arm swing type and her approach and her height, that extra little bit of lift on that set lets her extend, and watch her extend right there. And just lights up Draskovic playing right back.
Sierra Cates on the court now.
And I think Borer is good enough to set Manuel Duran and Ava Francis a little bit differently, the way they each need to be set. I think she's good enough to do that.
So Cates hops on, service error, and she's out. Kara Lewis back on for Virginia Tech. Served by Filamawa and the Noles. Easy receive. Lewis swings over. And the Hokies get the point.
We don't have access to these teams' individual numbers, their own statistics. I would love to see the difference in number of slide attacks run by Kara Lewis in 2023 versus 2022. I think it's a lot higher this year. I don't remember her doing it a ton last season, and it's been very effective for her.
Dupre trying to thread the needle. Cleaned up receives by Florida State in this set. Borer, quick tempo to Lewis from the rafters. Slams that one down.
Yeah, again, good handle in transition. That set gets pushed out just a little bit, and Lewis just kind of goes with it, lets it carry across her body, hits it to right back, hits it to zone 1, finds the kill.
Can't teach the ability to jump, right? And Kara Lewis has been a prominent presence because of that athleticism. Virginia Tech with Kara Lewis and company have quite the experience on the roster now. Marcy Byers doesn't have a team of captains. She has a leadership group. And see the spread of youth with a freshman like Olivia Angel all the way up to the grad students like Sydney Peterson. Pretty cool concept, right?
Yeah, I think you have to find what works for your program, what works for the group of players you have, and what might work this year isn't appropriate for next year, or it might be. It is picking those captains or choosing how your leadership is structured can be very hard, and it's something I know a lot of coaches constantly talk about with each other when they see each other on the road. Hey, how do you choose your captains? To your players, what's your structure like? Do you have one captain? Do you have 5? Do you have a leadership council like this? You want to try and involve as many voices as you can to make sure the players feel ownership. I think the best programs are player-driven, not coach-driven. They're the ones doing it. They have to have ownership of what's happening in the program.
And do you think there's an intent to have a freshman or a sophomore on that leadership group so that those younger players have someone to relate to as well?
Yeah, I do, if it's appropriate to have that kind of person. The one thing that I've learned, I mean, I continually screwed this up when I was coaching, is figuring out how to, people that I think should be a captain or people I think are a leader, their teammates don't think that. So I think that the worst thing you can do is force somebody into a leadership role. I don't care whether they're a freshman or a senior. You never want to force them into that spot because it's going to go bad. So if you have the right people and they're 18 years old, that's great. It's a big move here from Ava Francis and Kara Lewis. The rare double block where both players touch it.
Another double block. It's stuffed up. Quick tempo from Roby. Rodriguez with the set. Francis lets it fly, and she threads the needle. Hokies with another point.
Florida State's run a ton of middle tonight, and Virginia Tech has done a good job of taking the soft swings, a tip there. Borer digs at. Rodriguez has to set out a system. Francis is there to put it away. I think Virginia Tech's done a good job handling the off-speed out of the middle tonight.
At the net and poked down. Audrey Koenig and the Knowles get it to go.
So we saw in set 2, Roby gets called for over the net in the exact same situation. She reaches across with one hand and kind of taps it down. That time, 2 hands from Koenig, and they don't call it. Kind of have to know how to work with the officials sometimes.
Rodriguez trouble with the receive. A sky ball for Borer and the Hokies. Here's a free one for Florida State. Easy does it for Koenig.
Yeah, free ball situation here for Florida State. Lewis does a good job closing. That's just over the top. Yeah, it's Koenig over the top, and that's what happens when you send a free ball.
Here comes Dupre. Denied, but a dig. Borer will let it fly over. Set far side to Koenig, who's been warming up recently, and it turns out in favor of the Knowles.
Big swing from Koenig there down the line. I think that they've got Dupre scouted really well here. They ran her on that 2 ball, that kind of higher set in the middle off a good pass and serve receive, and they had 2 blockers all over her.
Borer will set another swing to Lewis. Dug out by Draskovic, and a misreceive this time.
I think that's a really good run there. It's the same play set. It's the same play set that time from Virginia Tech. They run Dupre on the 2 ball in the middle where she just got blocked the play before, but instead they set Lewis on the slide, and that they get Corey Lewis from Florida State stays in the middle on the 2 ball when she's late to the slide.
At the net, Kara Lewis, another one.
We have seen a lot of overpass swings tonight, a lot.
And with the athleticism and the height that both teams have in their outside hitters and middle blockers, it's gone in favor of the other team 100% of the time. And there's a service ace.
I was always a really, really bad overpass hitter back in the day when I played. I was really uncomfortable with it. I've been impressed. Everybody's done good tonight. Nobody's botched it.
Hokies on a roll, 17-14, and Bayer's squad is right back in it. Jake, how do they keep that rhythm rolling?
Service pressure, good transition defense. When Florida State has gotten a good pass, good set, and a real hard swing, they've scored. Okay, that's fine. So how do you impact them in a way to not allow them to get that in-system, in-rhythm swing? Virginia Tech at time has done that, but when they've gotten the soft swings, the off-speed stuff from Florida State, I think Virginia Tech's done a very good job defending it.
Kara Lewis leads the way with 14 kills, Jake. Why has she been so unstoppable?
Middle attack's hard to stop. Virginia Tech has found her in transition. Not just in serve receive, not just off a good pass, it's found her off dug balls, on free balls, and of course, she's been very, very active. She's somebody who you can tell as a middle blocker, she loves getting set, so she works really hard. Some middles don't get up and make themselves available constantly over and over and over again. And something that I've always believed for middles is if you keep fighting and you keep working and just going for 2.5 hours, At some point, the other kid across the net's going to quit. They're not going to go with you, and that's when you really start to make your hay.
Kara Lewis, one of the most efficient blockers and killers in the ACC. And another point for Virginia Tech.
Yeah, so what happened there is that set was bad location. Corey Lewis just got like a fingertip on it, and then Gaona sent it over, so it's 4 contacts. Kind of an odd play.
Roll shot. Borer to Lewis, you bet, but it's blocked at the net. Fake to Lewis, and on the far side, it's Dupre with the kill. Unstoppable.
And that's the best way to run Dupre because you've got Lewis back there running middle. She's running all the time. So Corey Lewis has to stay with Kara Lewis in the middle, makes her late to Dupre. Dupre swinging one-on-one effectively.
So Lewis, the door opener for Dupre, who's been shut out all night pretty much.
Absolutely. Your middle's constantly your setup man. Constantly.
And another one. Hokies right back in it. Lewis and Dupre have been commandeering this offensive surge right now.
It's a good high, hard swing from Dupre because what you want, if you're for Kara Lewis, for the middle blocker, you're saying go every time. So the middle blocker on the other side, it has to respect you. They have to stay with you. And it opens things up for everybody else.
Quick tempo, a great dig. Borer, far side to Duran.
Net. Yep, they're gonna have Conley in the net here. Yep.
Hokies with their foot all the way down on the accelerator right now.
When you start swinging well and scoring as an offense here, you start to see the blockers take some chances and kind of make some moves outside of their comfort zone. They start jumping in the net, stuff like that.
Trouble with the serve from Droskovic. She lets it fly, and finally a point for the Noles. That was Audrey Koenig with the finish.
That's an awesome swing from Audrey Koenig. That is so good. Now, I think that Dupre needs to move the block in here on this high out-of-system ball. This ball is so hard to hit. She is 10 feet off the net and just cranks hard cross court. That is hard to do against air, against nobody on the other side of net. Good rip.
Back to Duran. Noles handle it just fine. Lewis at the net.
Really good block touch by Kara Lewis.
Here comes Duran again. Cross-court roll shot. It's defended well. Snyder with a tip. And a joust at the net. It'll fall over for Virginia Tech. Borer with a set.
Good set from Borer there.
Dupre,
Yep.
you bet. Marcy Byers has never beat Florida State as the head coach of the Hokies. They're rolling right now, Jake.
Watch. Borer has to face the net to make this set to Dupre. Really nice execution. This started the very first sequence. Florida State had a good pass, set Corey Lewis on the one ball, hard swing. Kara Lewis got a block touch and they were able to dig it. That's the first time all night Corey Lewis has really taken a hard swing and had the blocker slow it down where they could transition.
Rodriguez with the serve, and now the Noles looking to respond. They're denied at the net, but it's an error on the receive, and the Seminoles are right back in it.
Yeah, watch a challenge here. The Virginia Tech players are telling Marcy Byers that ball went off the block and off of Corey Lewis's head before going out of bounds. It definitely landed out. We could see that from here, but they're looking for an off of the blocker, off of Corey Lewis.
And Marcy Byers had the card out real quick. So far tonight, a couple of challenges from Chris Poole. He's shooting 50% from the field, going 1 for 2. Both were relatively close, but now this one, what are you seeing here, Jake?
No, we're going to see it right now. We'll get a good look at it. Up. It's tough. That's really close. If it hit her in the ponytail, which would count. Nah, I think that misses her.
(19-19). Byers with a challenge, and if it goes in her favor, she has a 1-point lead. And as you said, Jake, first team to 20.
It would be 2018 if they win the challenge.
That's right.
Here. Yeah. Big swing here. I think that they're probably going to lose the challenge, although I've been wrong all night. So what do I know?
Well, I believe in you, Jake. Let's see.
Yeah. So
Florida State point.
that's okay. It's a really good opportunity. You have another one still in your back pocket if you're Marcy Byers. It's a really, really high leverage point moment to use one. See if they can work Sydney Peterson here on a good that ball's out of bounds. Yeah.
Way out of reach, and the Hokies are right back on top. Virginia Tech 5 points away from their first win in the Marcy Byers era over Florida State.
So big moment here. This is the last. They're about to go. Florida State's about to go into 2 rotations here, where both Corey Lewis and Koenig are in the back row and not available to hit.
Phelan, Snyder, dug out by Dupre for the Hokies.
Oh.
Back over. They're going to say it's out over the antenna this time. Man, that would have been quite the effort for the Hokies to grab a 2-point advantage.
For certain. I think it's something Dupre does well. I think she's a solid defender. It's just tough. Yeah. So now you have Koenig and Lewis out of the front row. We're holding this off for a second. Looks like we got a wet spot on the floor. So now if you're Virginia Tech, I think you love where you're at. You can side out right here, 21-20. Florida State's 2 best attackers are in the back row.
And which team is faring in that 15-point overtime 5th set?
I don't know. I hate those. Those are terrible. Those are terrifying as a player and a coach, especially as a coach.
15 sneaks up on you a lot quicker than 25, that's for sure.
I think if you're Virginia Tech, you want to finish it now.
Borer to Duran. Skied up for the Noles. Far side swing. Denied at the net. The Hokies are on top. Peterson and Borer.
Philamala here. She's hitting 0 on the night. I'd like to go to Koenig on the pipe and stick out of the back row instead there. So now how does Florida State side out? I mean, you're trying to go to Roby if you get the pass.
Duran with a float serve over. Roby, no, it's just a touch over this time from Philamawa. Francis, another one. 22-20, VT on top.
Yeah, and I'll tell you a big difference here. The last 10 minutes or so, maybe the last half of this set, Virginia Tech has been taking the big swings. They've been swinging to kill, and I think you're seeing they're getting the results. These big swings off the block. Hit the ball hard, good things happen.
Phelan to Snyder, who lets it fly, and it's right back to Florida State, a free ball. Snyder again. Dupre with the save. Here come the Hokies, and an attacking error this time. That's vital as Florida State's back within a point.
2 big digs there from Elena Dupre. That last time Peterson never really transitioned off the net. There was nowhere for Borer to put that ball. If you're Peterson, you got to know it. You got to know you're not in a great spot. A full swing is probably a hitting error. So that's when you tip. Keep it alive.
Draskovic, 14 service aces on the year. Here comes a float shot. Dupre handles it fine. Peterson at the net is denied, and Florida State has tied it up.
Yeah, it sets a little off. Peterson's not really sure where she is. Just trying to tip that ball into the court. Pays the price there. You got to find a full swing here.
Draskovic with a drop ball, and it's in Florida State's favor. What a swing for this Floridian volleyball club.
Lucky Rose Williams coming into the match here. For
On a Hawaiian night. Lucky Rose Williams out of Kalihi, Hawaii.
She's a good passer. She's a good receiver here.
Sporting number 18, and she gets a receive right off the bat. Tip over by Borer for the Hokies. Here come the Noles. Conley, dug out by Rodriguez for VT. Francis with the swing. Gayona, high bump set. Way out of play, and the Hokies have tied it up.
Wow, Marcy Byers pushing the right button there. Goes to Lucky Rose Williams, who's ice cold off the bench. Has not played a second tonight. Comes in, gets served, sticks a pretty good pass out there.
As good a finish you could ask for to set 4 right now. Serve from Sierra Cates. Florida State handles it fine. Conley with the swing. And now a mishap from Lucky Rose Williams. Karma, huh?
That's tough. That's tough. They got what they wanted there. They got that roll shot.
Tough look. Great receive on the first one. Second one, receiving error. Florida State to win the set. You bet. And we're going to a 5th set. Florida State with 2, Virginia Tech with 2. Fun matchup between 2 ACC squads to open up the 2023 campaign in Blacksburg.
Dramatic and fun and frantic, and this is good. 5th sets are nuts, man. This is going to be awesome.
Oh, yeah. 15 points to win it in this 5th set. Just before that, you had a shot of a 3-time ACC Coach of the Year in Chris Poole on the left, and on the right was Marcy Byers, 4-time Big South Coach of the Year, just her 4th season with Virginia Tech, and man, are they looking like a different program this year.
Well, these are the matches that you have to start winning if you want to turn that corner. If you want to start making your way through the league, you have an opportunity, 1-15 against a team that should be pretty good this year in Florida State. You got to take that, and you know, if this match happens in 6 weeks when Florida State's totally healthy, maybe it doesn't go this way. Who knows? You got to take your opportunity when you have the chance. And so a couple matchup things here. Florida State's going to rotate to Corey Lewis front row, and then they're going to get Koenig next. So they're going to get their 2 best players to start the match. Next rotation in the front row.
First point of the final set. Ava Francis sends that one into orbit, and Virginia Tech opens the scoring.
And the way you want to handle this, Kyle, if you're talking, you want to be the first team to 5 points. And then you want to be the first team to 8, so you lead when the teams switch sides at 8 points. And then first team to 10, and then win the match. You want to break it down. And I always remember to tell players, like, look, something crazy is going to happen in a 5th set. It's got to be cool.
Popped up and stuck at the net. Francis with another swing. Threads the needle again. 2-0 Hokies.
It's a good cross-court swing here from Ava Francis. Lewis does a nice job. Soft block, plays it out of the net. Francis, not a hard swing. Keeps it in the court.
Seminoles in black on your left, Hokies in white on your right. Hokies give a free ball to Florida State. Here's a set far side to Filamawa, denied at the net by Lewis. Backswing from Koenig. What a dig by Ileana Rodriguez for Virginia Tech. Here's the response. Filamawa threads the needle.
Yeah, it's a big swing from Filamawa right there. I like that run off that free ball. Rodriguez does a good job digging Koenig out of the back row. Dupre's one-on-one, trying to block Filamawa. Filamawa goes hard cross. Finds that good kill.
Burr with the set. Dupre with a tip shot up the middle. It's denied. Francis with another chance. Back set. Conley with some height. Easy dig. Rodriguez bump set to Dupre. Well out of reach. Florida State ties it up.
Again, they've got this play set they're running here with their all 3 hitters. With Lewis, Dupre, and Francis stacked on the left side of the court here. They're running Dupre in this 2-ball. I'd like to go to Lewis here. Find some open space.
Free ball for Florida State. Quick tempo this time. Can Virginia Tech keep it in? Duran saves it. Rodriguez will bump it over. Roll shot. Here come the Noles. Dug out again by Duran. Francis lets it fly, and it falls on the side of Florida State. Virginia Tech with the point. They're up 3-2.
The key play there was when Virginia Tech sent that free ball off the pursuit play. The pass for Florida State on the free ball wasn't good enough to run middle. Virginia Tech was able to dig Koenig up and run offense out of it.
Olivia Angel with the serve this time. Roll shot from Koenig. It's popped up at the net. Kara Lewis couldn't find it. Here's Dupre. And that one is in favor of Virginia Tech again. How about the subtle chess match in design plays between Marcy Byers and Chris Poole?
Well, I think Virginia Tech got a good matchup here because they've got Dupre against Koenig across the entire front row. They're matched up against each other. You don't want Koenig hitting over your smaller setter with Borer.
Knowles handle it just fine. Conley looking for her first kill of the final set. Couldn't get it. Dupre absolutely stopped at the net. Roby has been so impressive up front for the Florida State Seminoles so far. How about 10 blocks from Kiari Roby so far tonight?
Yeah, Roby's been really effective in the middle. I think that as her offense comes along, she's going to be even more of an impact player for Florida State. Right now, she's contributing defensively well. She's got 10 blocks. That's awesome.
Fantastic dig by Rodriguez, but it's right back to the Knowles. Another one. Borer. Duran waiting to see where it's awarded, and they're going to give it to Florida State. I thought it might have caught the fingertips of Lewis up front.
I mean, Manuel Duran was going high hands there. She was reaching for the top of the block, trying to play it off the top. I thought there was a pretty good chance of that being a touch. I haven't really thought she was going to land that thing in the corner, but we're going to get a pretty solid look here for a touch. These are hard to see, though. These are hard to see on replay.
So a challenge.
I think that Rodriguez has been really, really, really good tonight. That dig right there across court was pretty fabulous. She's been a lot of fun, and I would say this is probably her best match as a Hokie so far.
A U23 gold medalist at the Pan American Games representing the Dominican Republic, and has been so steady as a libero for Virginia Tech all night. Leads the way in digs by a large margin. The most for Florida State, 13 between Koenig, Filamawa, and Gaona, but 30 for Ileana Rodriguez tonight.
Touch. Wow.
Hokies point, and that swings it. Make it a 5-3 contest for the Hokies.
Good challenge. It's one of the things that I think it's good to have them. I don't like replay review as a rule in volleyball or other sports, but I think it's good to hold on to those challenges, at least have them available late in the match, because you can use them in high leverage spots like this. The difference between 4-4 and 5-3 is enormous.
Rodriguez with a slice of a serve, mishandled Florida State with a push shot over. Borer with the bump set. Duran, and this time it looked like it was clean over and out of bounds. Florida State right back at him.
Yeah, she's trying to go to that well again, which I think is good. I mean, I think Manuel Duran has got a nice hand on ball. I think going for high hands is a smart swing. It's about the only option she has in that spot that can generate a kill.
And here's the Arkansas native, Kenna Phelan, with the serve. Virginia Tech from right to left, denied at the net, and just out of reach. Block, just mishandled. Olivia Angel looks up at the net ref and says, hey, that's out.
Manuel Duran, before she even landed, she knew that ball was out of bounds. That thing was only out by about 4 inches.
They've got good court vision, right? Here's Dupre. Phelan denied at the net, but it's pushed out of play. And Audrey Koenig with the kill.
Yeah, that's good from Koenig. That's really good. They're coming after. That's a pretty spicy serve. Koenig does a good job going past to attack. I mean, she's matched up against Borer. She should be going after a small setter all day long.
Borer has to reach for that set. Duran with a roll shot. It's mishandled, and they can't get to it. Gaona give chase, but ran out of room. And Virginia Tech with a response point. How vital are these serves right now? Hokies looking to be the first to 8 before they switch sides midway through this final set of action.
This is the same situation as last set. Corey Lewis about to rotate back row here.
Lucky Rose Williams back on the court. And a mishandled tip over on the bump receive from Hannah Borer.
Yeah, Borer got a little ambitious right there, trying to force one in. I don't think Peterson was really expecting at that angle from 12 feet off the net. An opportunity for Virginia Tech to side out, be the first team to 8, lead at the switch.
Gayona, the libero, with the serve. Rodriguez. Now the Hokies come. Borer to Francis. Roll shot handled just fine up in the air. And a soft one from Florida State. Here comes Virginia Tech again. Francis, cross court. And she found the pinpoint spot. First to 8 are the Hokies in the final set.
That's a really good swing there from Ava Francis going cross court. She had a big solid double block against her. Good transition footwork, just sets her hips. She's going cross court the whole way there. There's no other swing in that spot.
8-6, Hokies looking to grab a big win versus Florida State. Head coach of Florida State, Chris Poole. Jake, well, Florida State, a strong offense, but have a lot to work on in this final set.
Yeah, they're in a really tight spot here. I think that this has to be the go time for Florida State. Coming back out of timeout, they're set up, they're in rotation 3, Phelan setting, so they have Kiari Roby, left front playing middle. You have Philly Maua on the outside passing, then Maddie Snyder on the right. I think they're going to keep it pretty basic here. I think 4-1-5. High ball left side to Philly Maua. Roby quick in the middle. Look for Snyder. Snyder hasn't hit one hard in a while on the right side. The matchup here, I mean, I would love to get the ball, Philly Maua over top of Hannah Borer as a setter. See if they can get it.
Hokies with the serve. Florida State down 2 and immediately make it a 1-point game.
Maddie Snyder must have heard me from all the way over there saying she hadn't hit a ball hard in a while. She's cranked this one. Yeah. Francis has to take more there. That's not even a line swing. That's almost a middle back outside of the block.
And each team has had their fair share of freshmen being an impact on this game. Gayona in the white jersey for Florida State is a libero true freshman, and then Snyder, a true freshman out of Florida as well.
I think Gayona's been battling. She's been fighting it out there.
Knowles looking to tie it up. Far side swing from Francis. It's stopped at the net by Roby and Conley.
Yeah, that's kind of that flat inside hut set out there to Francis. I think she needs a little bit higher. And if it's low, if it's low and tight, you don't have that full rip at it, that's when you got to find a shot. You got to find a shot.
Droskevich with the serve. Beautiful time to drop the float, and Florida State grabs their first lead of the final set. (9-8) Seminoles with a 1-point advantage. The Serbian lets it fly. Hokies from left to right. Lewis with the swing, stopped at the net but poked out of play. Philly Maua couldn't get it down, and the Hokies retie it.
Okay, so you have one more rotation here before Koenig comes back in the front row. And it matters because she's hitting 286, 21 swings, and really only maybe a 2.5 sets, not even 2.5 sets full action.
Back set to Conley, stifled at the net. Here comes Borer, and now Dupre. Same result. Hokies with a third chance. Francis, you bet.
Really good coverage right there. That's Kara Lewis getting in right under the point of attack. Just being low, having her hands and arms out. They're able to transition that ball out to Francis. Now we got a timeout with Florida State.
Ava Francis had 15 kills last game versus ECU. The Hokies only lost of the year, and now they have their stiffest competition all season to open up ACC play. This would be a massive statement for Marcy Byers and her squad.
From here out, your first team to 10, you're trying to finish it. And the way that you're going to finish it, if you're Virginia Tech, is you're going to have to generate points off your serve. So that's aces, that's blocks, and that's digs transitioning to kills. Okay, if I'm in the huddle right now, I'm telling the team I'm coaching is, hey, we need an ace, we need a block, and we need 2 kills, and Florida State will give us the 5th point. You know what I mean? So you're trying to find ways to do it on your own without relying on Florida State having to make errors or you having to side out a bunch.
Ava Francis played in 25 games last year. This year, as a redshirt sophomore, a big addition to the offense. 82 kills coming into this contest. She's added a lot tonight.
Yeah, and she's hitting 200 tonight right now. I mean, that's not sizzling. She has 19 kills. She has 10 hitting errors, but she's been asked to really carry a big offensive load out there. You know, she's about to rotate out. This is an opportunity, if you know, for her to say, can she find a block? Can she get a block on Conley on the right side? Can she get a kill in transition here? Can she make a big dig?
The underclassmen leading the underdogs so far.
It's really fifth sets. This is winning time. This is, you know, this is end game scenarios. It's every little touch really matters here. Can you find swings? Can you generate a point? Can you earn a point? Because you don't want to get to the side-out game here.
Hannah Borer with the serve for Virginia Tech. Florida State from right to left. And an attacking error. Virginia Tech has 4 points to go.
Florida State hasn't run that servicing pattern all night that's Conley running a quick one and then Roby running that back one. They haven't run that all night, and to pull that at 10-11 or 10-9 that's tough. Not surprised they had a hard time executing it there.
And right out of the break, Florida State needs to talk things over. Chris Poole calls timeout. What are you talking about with these Seminoles right now to reset?
The reality is, I think that they're probably in their worst side-out rotation. You know, this is probably their least efficient rotation of their 6 side-out opportunities, and it's a really bad place to get stuck. They're stacked, which means they have everybody pushed over on one side of the court. You know, I think that nobody in the front row, I mean, Roby's hitting 174 now. It's tough. Conley's hitting 080. And Philimo is negative. So you have basically your 3 least effective hitters tonight are all in the front row. I am going to run either I'm making a substitution. You can maybe bring Eakes back in the match, but she hasn't played in an hour and a half. You maybe bring her back in somewhere, or you run some sort of play set and try and get Koenig the ball in the back row and let her just take a crank. She's your best attacker out there right now. Get her the ball, even if she is in the back row.
And do you think at this point maybe Chris Poole was regretting not putting Koenig up front a little bit earlier?
I don't know. I don't know what the reasoning was. You'd only be guessing why. But, you know, they lost set 3 like this, and they're down in set 5. So I'm running something to get Koenig isolated in the middle on the pipe.
11-9, Hokies lead it. Out of the timeout, here comes Virginia Tech.
That's a great serve.
Roby, handled well by Rodriguez for Virginia Tech. Francis with the swing, threaded right back up in the air. Now Philamawa, stopped at the net, out of play, and Florida State with a response out of the timeout. And the crowd falls to a little bit more of a hush in Castle.
Chris Poole just checking right there with the down referee to make sure they have the right server going back to serve.
Philamawa. Float shot handled just fine by Virginia Tech. Right up the middle, Dupre couldn't get any fingertips. No, they did. And Virginia Tech adds a massive point. Florida State with some disagreement.
So you get an extra challenge in the 5th set. Chris Poole's going to use it right here.
Here we go.
I mean, Florida State players are adamant they didn't touch it, but what else would you expect them to say? I mean, I would expect them to say they didn't touch it.
It's a close one.
Yeah, 12-10 versus 11-11 is massive. Yeah.
This could be a game-changing point in favor of either Florida State or Virginia Tech.
It's really tough to see. The one thing is, it's going to be hard to see both ways.
It looked like Ileana Rodriguez, the libero, was the only one for Virginia Tech that was certain that got some fingertips. Everyone else, not so certain.
It has to be definitive. You know, how can you tell? I think that it would be difficult to overturn based on these looks. I think that's a touch right there. I really do. I think Roby gets out with her left hand. So what you have to do is you have to be preparing your team right now both ways. Be ready for either outcome here. Make sure you have a play set. Make sure you know who your people are. You have to defend if you're serving.
Here we go.
Oh, wow. Yeah.
They overturn it, Florida State's point, and all of a sudden the tension is palpable in Blacksburg.
So Virginia Tech still has 2 timeouts. Florida State has none. If you're Tech, you're trying to get a quick side out here.
All tied up at 11 apiece. Florida State with the serve from right to left on your screen. Francis from the Hokies. Florida State handles it fine. Koenig stopped at the net.
That's a massive, massive block right there at a huge moment for Virginia Tech. Koenig got a great set right there. Really, really good move from Kara Lewis and Elena Dupre. We'll see it right here. You can see how far Lewis even went the wrong way at first and still got out there. That's all Dupre there with the finish. Huge block.
Conley, great receive by Rodriguez.
That's a silly dig.
The set to the near side, roll shot from Koenig. All over the place. And that one is just out of reach. Back and forth we go. Both teams are racing to 3 points now until that 15-point mark to win it.
So Libby Angel right there, she's been awesome as a defensive specialist in the middle back tonight. She makes that very easy play over the corner. She's been really good tonight, and it's important to recognize that because she's been a big piece for Virginia Tech.
Here's Roby. Clean receive by Virginia Tech. And that one is just out. Florida State takes a very late lead. And now Byers is going to talk things over.
Well, that's tough right there. Manuel Duran gets just no block.
Oh, man, that was close.
Yeah, no block. Conley gets caught looking inside, never makes the move to jump with her. You got to put it away in that spot. You're 1 on none. I mean, you can hit that ball wherever you want. You can hit that ball straight down if you want. That's a really tough 2 hitting errors here. You know, it was 12-11, and Virginia Tech just went hitting error.
And it's worth noting, too, Virginia Tech has only gone to a 5th set once this year before this matchup. Otherwise, a whole lot of 3-0s in their 10-1 record so far. So Florida State with the advantage. If you're Marcy Byers, who are you looking at to lead the way as the Hokies aim to charge back?
Dupre's hitting 079, and they've been all over her all night. I think that Kara Lewis, if you could set her, is the right choice here. She's got 15 kills. She's hitting over 650. I think you can set her on a quick 1 ball right in front of the setter. You can run a little bit of a push, or you can push her all the way up to 31. You have to have the pass. To me, I'm going to set the play set as a 31. A little further away from the setter, so even if it's a medium pass, you can still fit it in. And then you're creating kind of a distraction for Corey Lewis as a blocker. So if you have to set Manuel Duran here, you can hopefully get her 1-on-1 against Conley.
Coming on to serve.
Eddie Holtquist here.
Addie Holtquist, the redshirt sophomore, right out of Tallahassee. Can the hometown girl get a big serve to make it a 1-point game? Florida State from right to left. Bora with the set, the swing from Virginia Tech, handled just fine. Koenig from the rafters, defended well. Dupre stopped at the net, but it's out of play. Virginia Tech ties it up at 13. What else could you ask for?
That's a gutsy swing from Elena Dupre right here. She just comes right at it. Oh, and squeezes it in.
Oh, man.
That's a situation where Koenig's actually a little too high.
Man, I wish I had that problem, jumping too high.
Yeah, I never had that issue.
Ileana Rodriguez with the serve for VT. Up the middle is Lewis, and the Hokies can't get there. Florida State needs 1 more point to get away unscathed.
It's a good touch there from Kara Lewis. A good run from Corey Lewis from Florida State. Corey Lewis has been inevitable tonight. Anytime they get her a good set, she's been effective.
for Florida State. Virginia Tech going back to Dupre, and that one's sent into orbit. 14-14 game. You got to win by 2. This one's going into double OT, if you will.
Yeah, Elena Dupre's had a rough night sometimes offensively. She has kept ripping. That might be her best swing all evening at the moment they absolutely needed it. Look for Koenig here. Koenig, Corey Lewis is a great side-out rotation for Florida State.
Dupre with the serve. Feeling back set. Lewis. Great receive. What a recovery by the Hokies. Still alive. Seminoles denied at the net, but it's poked out of play, and Snyder gets a massive point for Florida State.
Yeah, what a swing here from Corey Lewis. Big dig from Angel. Again, she's been really good tonight. And meanwhile, Durant's a little bit lost out there. Okay, so you've got slide to Sydney Peterson if they can find it.
Florida State's got to win this point here. They won't. Right up the middle.
My guess is that was supposed to be slide to Peterson behind the center. When the pass got pushed that far back towards the antenna, they just audible to a one ball in front and kind of caught Florida State sleeping right there. Wasn't the greatest swing, but she was available.
Leandra Mangual Duran.
Koenig to the back row now.
We'll see if they target her. They do. Clean receive, though. Snyder with the swing, popped up. Here comes Rodriguez and the Hokies. Francis with the roll shot, handled just fine by Gayona. Snyder, gravitized, a joust at the net. Florida State retakes the lead. Match point, Seminoles.
Yeah, good, clean redirect from Corey Lewis right there. She's been an absolute monster tonight. She's now rotated out, though, so you're talking about, again, Florida State's 2 best attackers are out if Virginia Tech can find a kill.
Virginia Tech's got to keep it alive here. Tip shot handled just fine. Gayona with a bump set. Slammed down. What a dig by Rodriguez. Can she save the day? Duran sends it over. Back set. Snyder popped up. Virginia Tech on their heels. Francis poked out of play. What a swing from Francis, the hero in this 5th set. Tied up at 16 apiece. Grab your popcorn.
Big swing here from Francis. Just comes inside of Roby's block. Challenges Gayona one-on-one and wins that battle. Tough rotations here for Florida State.
Float shot mishandled. Free ball for Virginia Tech. They're going to give it to Lewis. Popped right back up. Denied at the net. Lewis skies it down. Hokies win one more point, and they'll steal a huge upset against their
Lewis
ACC
here,
foes.
Lewis here comes up huge, closes that block, defends Borer there. I mean, this is Snyder. I mean, I go Snyder here if I'm Florida State.
Feeling back set to Snyder.
Oh.
Back and forth.
Woo-hoo. That's a really, really tough swing from Maddie Snyder right there.
Might as well play to 25. Virginia Tech got 2 points in a row to retake a lead.
I mean, Snyder was hitting like 070 about 10 minutes ago. She's up over 200 right now. That was her 10th kill of the night. But Virginia Tech's climbed on the right side of the ladder here. They can side out, they get another match point.
Someone's got to win 2 points in a row. Who knows when that'll happen? 17-17. Oh, yeah. Oh, they keep it off. How about the dig from Draskevich, who pancaked it? Hokies with the return. Joust at the net. Far side swing.
Oh.
Mishapped, but it falls over from Francis.
Florida State's calling for that outside the pin, but no call from anybody.
Francis. Yes! 18-17. Hokies got to win one more for history.
Big swing from Francis again.
We'll see if there's an argument on whether or not that was an antenna violation.
Yeah, so what they're challenging is that play from that swing from Francis. they're looking for that to be outside the antenna. That's going to be really, really hard to see on replay. We right here at our table, we have a great look at that angle. It looked good live. It looked good, but Florida State effectively quit playing, thinking it was way outside the pin. Wow. Well, this is big. Way tough. That's not it.
That was that final kill from Francis. It was a shot beforehand where she missed the tempo and accidentally tipped it up in the air. Now, it landed over a free ball for Florida State. Virginia Tech ultimately floored the swing. It's going to be a long challenge, it looks like. (18-17) as of right now. Now, if this one switches sides after the challenge, all you got to do is flip the score, and Florida State would be 1 point away from the win. This is as pivotal a replay as it gets.
They were going to look at it right here. No, that looks good, I think.
Tough. I mean, he is literally looking at where that swing came from.
I think
in relevance to the antenna.
I think he's looking to see where the antenna lines up with the ceiling, which I don't know how you're supposed to tell that. It's wide. No, because you would see, I mean, unless it went over.
Looks like it was higher than the antenna. So then it just goes down to a vision test.
Well, you would see the red and white flash in front of the blue, white, and gray. I think that's inside the antenna. It looked inside live, too.
Right.
To me. But we also don't have an idea of how high that ball is in relation to the top of the pin. Not from that camera angle. I mean, unless there would have to be someone. Now, I don't. Oh, we're going to get it right here.
This could decide the match in a way. Here we go.
Oh, out.
Wow. And Byers is not happy. That flips the script a little bit. Make it an 18-17 Florida State lead. If Florida State wins this point, they win the match. Droskovic with the serve for FSU. Handled fine. Borer back set to Lewis. Just outside.
We're going to get a challenge here, I think, looking for a touch off the block.
And now it comes down to this replay.
Yeah, the call's out of bounds. Ball's clearly out. They're looking for a swing off the top of the block, especially left side blocker here.
So if Florida State did touch the ball, it'll be an 18-18 game. If not, Florida State wins. Here's a peek at this one. Oh, man. As close as it gets.
Yeah.
It could have touched the pinky of Philamawa, who was that left blocker there.
It's hard to see. It's really hard to see. This might be our best look at it right here.
Oh, wow.
I just don't know how you tell. I just don't know how you tell. It's an incredibly difficult call to make live. Typically, officials are taught, don't worry about in and out as much as touches off the block, because there's lots of people who can see in and out in the officiating crew. That block touch is pretty much our near sideline judge is the only person who can really see that. Up ref can't see it, not very well. Down ref definitely can't see it. And here's our near sideline judge. Oh,
Wow.
does that I mean, left pinky.
Looks like it hits the left pinky of Filamawa.
It looks like that's a fantastic look.
Shout out to the crew back in headquarters over at the south end zone.
Oh my God.
Wow. Well, we'll eat our words, and Florida State, for the 11th time in a row, is victorious over Virginia Tech. Marcy Byers' face says it all. But Florida State walks away victorious in a thriller from Blacksburg, Virginia. FSU back to 500. They open up ACC play 1-0. Virginia Tech